Earnestly podcast here. It is playoff time. My man, Kyle Nash. Happy New Year. Although, I don't know why I'm sending it to you again because I just saw you last night.
Well, listen, you could pull the Chris Berman. This is one of the coolest things does. EJ, let me be among the last to wish you and yours a happy 2023.
Well, for the record, this is actually the first show of the year.
Right.
For this show.
Anyway. For the Student Game Report. That's right.
Well, on Earnestly podcast in general.
Oh, wow. You're slacking your balls.
I've done an Earnestly podcast look, I've done other podcasts. I've done, Unfiltered. I've done, in the Paint was launched yesterday, again, relaunched yesterday. But I haven't done a show on this feed since December 27th, I think it was.
Keep in mind, for all the podcasts that EJ does, EJ Unfiltered, or Earnestly Speaking Unfiltered. Isn't the only one where he curses. He says fuck on all his shows. I can guarantee you.
You're fucking right, man. You're fucking right, man.
It's funny talking to you. I remember, and like, it's fun. It's genuinely funny. I'm not talking trash on you, but what I said to you, after you were on the Student of the Game podcast most recently to do picks leading into week 18.
Yeah.
I had said to you, yes, EJ, the indication that I'm going to have to hit explicit this week. And you were literally like, I curse that much? And now that I'm on your show, I can respond this way. Yes, you fucking do.
I think what it is, I did radio a lot back in the day, and being restricted to not say certain things. And then podcast becomes a thing, and I'm like, you know what? I have the liberty to do what I want to do now.
Bro, listen, that's all adorable. Here's the real reason. Let me get the psychology on you that you ain't
okay. Go ahead.
I know what it really is, because we have seen, whether it's on this show, you scheduling this show, you on Huddle Up, the fact that young Eli, right, came in and has a drop on Huddle Up. We know how big your children are to you.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. I need to practice that, but I can get it. Anyways, but I think the big reason you curse so much in your show is because your kids aren't there. And I think that's part of it too.
That's part of it, though. Although my kids, once in a while, I will curse in front of them, but I'll drop once in a while.
We've seen you do it on air.
Not scolding them, though.
No, not scolding them, but like, yeah, this team fucking sucks. Oh, hi.
Oh, hey, Logan, what's up? Yeah. Parenting 101. Hey, look, I can keep real with my kids, though. Anyway, so we're gonna hit on three things today on the show. We got 3 goals here. Number one, we did this last year, and I kind of enjoyed that. I want to kind of do this again. We're gonna give letter grades to all the non-playoff teams, and we're gonna go week to week going forward, rest of the month, rest of the season.
Right.
So next week, of course, we'll give letter grades for the teams that eliminated from wildcard weekend, and then so on, so on, and so on. So we're gonna go alphabetical order. Let's go here first. Let's hit the Arizona Cardinals, who ended the year 4-13.
Oh, good Christ! Yeah, these guys. Listen, I had them at least competing for a playoff spot, but then injuries happen. And listen, at the end of the day, if you're starting Trace McSorley, at some point I need to get you into remedial classes. There's nothing. I mean, I know Cliff Kingsbury got the axe, and rightly so. We said if he didn't shape up his grades late in the year and he let his grades slip for the second consecutive season, he was going to go. Well, that's what he did. Bye, peace, see ya. Maybe you can repeat coaching in some other team or rank. But as far as this franchise, it's unfortunate. I think we're going to probably have to slap them with a C- or a D. I'm not going to outright say F because that feels kind of cruel with all the injuries and BS that they've dealt with.
I see that.
But I have a feeling that the Kyler Murray situation is going to be unforgiving. I feel like they're going to lose pieces. D-Hop's probably gone. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm fairly certain Zach Ertz is going to retire.
Your boy retired already too?
What's
your boy retired? Did you cry?
Little.
Okay.
Hater ass. And
I love JJ Watt. I mean, hater. I love the guy.
No,
relax.
I listen as you see a piece of him in the background in my frame.
I do.
That's never going away, JJ.
I'm the worst franchise in the NFL currently. The Jersey, anyway.
Well, and you notice that started with him and D-Hop leaving, ironically.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, with all the pieces they have leaving over and above, they had already lost Christian Kirk for another team that you think's pretty frisky. Yeah, D.
Yeah, I wanted to go F2, but D minus sounds kind of like where they're at. I mean, they actually did have a chance though to make some noise in the middle of the year. Like they were in the mix for playoff spots. That remember that 7 seed was wide open, and they're hovering on 500 for a little while, and then you get Hopkins back. You're thinking, okay, cool, so maybe this team can be in the mix, and then they just fall apart after that. Cliff Kingsbury's gone too, especially as well. We'll see how that job search goes for the next coach. I'm really curious which names are in the hat for that team, but not surprising the coach is gone. Not surprising whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
it is what it is. I mean,
it is what it is.
Did what he did in college. He had a nice little attempt, but yeah, it was time.
Yeah. All right. Next team here, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who went 7-10.
You know, I'll give them this so much credit. They've done enough, but again, the fraud cons are still very fraudulent. You want to know the one thing that's worse than the Atlanta fraud cons? That entire division. Like what they did, the fact that the reason they have 7 wins is because they play in that. Listen, cheating on the test doesn't get you extra points in my mind. That being said, you're also starting a large portion of the season with Desmond Ridder instead of Marcus Mariota. It's not Mariota, it's Mariota. Anyways. Yeah, that's right. My daughter's a Potterhead, so I went with that joke. Deal with it. The punchline's this.
So's my wife, so.
Oh, hey, listen. You could tell Mrs. Christian that my daughter at her first violin recital played Hedwig's theme. There you
go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Damn right it is. Anyways, hashtag father pride. But but that's really the biggest props. Listen, my guy Danny Thompson keeps wanting to tell me about how, will the Falcons beat the 49ers? And great. You have a great view from the couch, just like your team does watching.
So the Bears, buddy.
Yeah.
And they have no one draft pick, so get in line.
I mean, yeah. It's funny that you give me an opportunity to shout out our friend, Controversy Raphael Haynes, as well, of the 3-point conversion. Bing!
Yep.
Because he went right to Facebook talking ish. Oh, wait, we're on your podcast. He went right to Facebook talking shit.
There we go.
And I made the same comment about, okay, great. You'll have a great view of the playoffs from the couch. And hey, listen, I think it's in Las Vegas this year. Be watching you when it all starts, baby. Woo! Anyway, no, listen. And actually, I joke, but the Bears draft situation is going to be interesting to watch. We're talking about that. But getting back to the fraud.
Oh, we're getting there in a second. They're on the list, so.
Of course, right. Yeah, they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
But for what they are, I know they're frauds, and it's hard to rate them appropriately because they're in that division. And because it's hard to rate them, I don't want to be in the position of being harsh. I don't feel like I want to punish the Falcons, but by the same token, stop lying and trying to steal lunch money. I'm going to put them at a C because 7 is way more wins than I thought they would have. By the same token, I know how the hell you got there. It wasn't with maximum effort. You were not Deadpool.
Yeah, C as well. I had them. They were my preseason worst team in the league. They were the team I had as the team going in to this spring's draft as having the number 1 pick.
I think the only reason they weren't the worst is because they went to Seattle, and I foresaw them winning that game on the road.
Yeah, and they're very competitive early in the year too. They're very competitive. But yeah, C is correct. I'm with you on there. All right, next team here, you have the Carolina Panthers, who won 7-10.
Again, a team that overperformed, and I think they did it in a fashion less fraudulent than the fraud cons. I'm going to go C+. And considering, actually, you know what? I'm going to go full B- because the Baker Mayfield experiment was obviously a shot of desperation. And listen, nobody expected this team to do well. And then you came out and one game was with what? PJ Walker and Sam Darnold. You were fighting for the division at one point against EJ's boy, Thomas Edward Patrick Beta Brady. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that division sucks, but I can say that about your team. Yeah, B-.
It's complicated because they're actually are at the number I thought they would probably be at, but it's the way they got there because they started really slow. At one point, I think there was a time this year they were number 32 in my rankings.
By subtraction, too. We need to factor that in, right?
Right. And then they bring in Steve Wilkes is the name of the coach?
I think so,
Steve Wilkes. Yeah, he got unceremoniously fired by the Cardinals a couple years ago. After 1 year,
Ironically.
he did a great job ending the year. This team, I mean, obviously, shit division aside, they were literally a week away from winning division. If they beat Tampa in week 17, and then take your business, which they did against New Orleans week 18, they NFC South champions, and they're probably in the playoffs. So I got to give them a B- for recovering, at least. And again, as you said, addition by subtraction. And at least you've seen some upside here. And we were talking about huddle up yesterday about how attractive destinations for coaches. I think this is one. This is actually going to be a good one, actually.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know that it's a good destination.
That's the best one, but a good one.
But it's the most attractive of the ones we currently know about as openings. I mean, at the end of the day, for my money, they need to get off their dumb asses and fire McDaniels and hire Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion. But that being said, Harbaugh would probably want to keep Derek Carr. So there's that.
Yeah,
but we'll get to the Raiders soon enough, I'm sure. But
yeah. All right, next team here. Speaking of the Bears, you said earlier, they ended the year 3-14.
What this group does to Justin Fields, I'm going to be punitive. I'm going to put this right at a big old fat D. But Kyle, why don't they get an F? Because what they did in that, I was about to say Khalil Mack, that Bradley Chubb trade, or shoot, who was the big
is it not Raekwon Smith?
No, yeah,
who was it?
Not for Chase Claypool.
But the Steelers, yeah,
right. That trade needed to happen because Roquan was not getting you more wins,
and he's going to get paid anyway. So,
he's going to get paid anyway.
He did it by the way this week,
right? But the Bears need to concentrate on getting more weapons. They're doing that. Justin Fields needs to be kept alive. They might still do that. And they have a number 1 overall draft pick. There is a sliver of upside. This is also the same program that got us a first-round pick, more than one first-round pick, for Mitchell Trubisky to the 49ers. Yeah. So, my confidence there is low. But, I this is a D.
Listeners to this podcast, who didn't check it on Filter Podcast today, I released today my the 5 teams that to look out for in 2023. The Bears made my list.
Okay, so listen.
So, and again, I'm explaining again here, like explaining on the podcast. It's
after
not
the draft. Why are they interesting?
No, it's interesting because of the fact that they, a team with options. You have, first off, they're projected to have the most salary cap space of any team. Coming into March, $118 million to what I read, and a number 1 pick. So got a lot of options. That's all I'm saying. Are they a playoff team next year? No, not even close. But
then, if they're not a playoff threat, why do I want to watch them?
But the conversation is not about because Justin Fields is why you watch them. Number 1, okay, and I'm just curious about where the pieces are going to fit with this franchise. Which direction to go in? Are they going to draft receivers or not draft receivers? Are they going to go to free agency for that? That's all I'm saying. The 5 teams that weren't teams I said were going to be playoff teams. There's teams I'm curious about what they do. That's all. But yeah, I gave them a D as well too. They were a little bit worse than I thought they'd be. But I did say before the year started they'd be a bottom 5 team. By the end of the year, and obviously the worst record in football by virtue of the tie breaks and all that. So no surprise there. All right, here we go. You got the 7-10 Cleveland Browns.
F. We went through all this and dealt with all this trash and your bad business and trying to ruin the quarterback market and bail out a guy who's essentially, I'm not going to use the word pervert, but let's just say did a lot of stuff he shouldn't have. And we did all that just so you could bring out this mediocre ass football. Really? We couldn't even get good football out of you? Stop it.
The worst part too about that is that they were really competitive and blew some opportunities early in the year to at least get ahead of the curb. In some couple games, they could have been in the mix for a wild card.
That's a great point, EJ. For all the criticism Jacoby Brissett had to listen to, at the end of the day, Watson didn't do any better. In fact, I could argue he did worse. What, right?
And in fact, I would agree with you on that. I'm going to go D But yeah, I can
Be
see
nice.
why. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. I kind of have the same vibe as you do.
Mm.
All right, how about the Detroit Lions and Man Campbell 9-8?
Whew, buddy. A minus. A minus. Listen, we all knew that Madden Campbell was going to be a great story, but playoff relevant. Listen, I picked the Lions at 7 wins, and I was called crazy for doing that. And he got 9.
Yep.
And while he didn't make the playoffs, you, me, and basically America wanted them in the playoffs. A.
Yeah, I went B plus on that one.
Hater.
But at the same time, like I knew to be frisky this year. I didn't think win 9 wins. I said 6 to 7 wins would be enough for me, but 9 wins. And think about it too. Also, how they got the 9 wins too this year with all the injuries, and they
Yeah.
fell apart 1-6, and never gave up, and were literally a tiebreaker from making the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and listen, I'll give them this much credit. They did enough to woo your good buddy Mikey Byrne to make what I think might be probably one of the worst. I want to say, well, I'll say it is the worst of his end of season award picks on the Student of the Game podcast. Bing!
They were also on my list of 5 teams to look out for in 2023. For the record.
Oh, now see that, bruh. Now that's a good pick. That's what a team you're supposed to watch for. Is look, yes, yes, Ernest Christian.
That's right.
Listen, don't sell me listening to that pod with the damn Bears. You say, oh yeah, I got my my Lions. No, they're Jim's Lions. But I got the Lions in my top teams to watch. I am intrigued. Where do I smash the like button? Anyway, go ahead.
Here's a team I'm not really intrigued by.
Make sure you smash it because it's Madden Campbell.
Man Campbell, right? Biting the caps off. Here's a team I really don't care. I'm so tired of talking about this team. The Packers.
Sorry.
They're in the playoffs, buddy. Get it right. The Packers
this week. You're right.
Yeah. Packers next week we'll talk about the Giants. Although you think it's been in 2 weeks. Packers 8-9. I'm so tired of talking about the Packers. I really am. And Aaron Rodgers.
And yeah, I resist the urge to have that impact my decision too. But listen, man. What makes the Packers tough is going into the year, we knew there were struggles, but we didn't think it was going to be this bad. And then the injuries happened, and it got that bad. But then they started to soar back and fight for the playoffs. Aaron Charles Rodgers isn't going to win the MVP again. We've learned that.
Yeah.
Nor does he give enough of a bleep to work with new players like Patrick LeVon Mahomes II did. A point I made on the Play Callers podcast this past Tuesday. I'm going to go C, because at the end of the day, you still have Aaron Charles Rodgers. At the end of the day, you almost made the playoffs with essentially no receivers and having Watson emerge the way that he did. But by the same token, you had an opportunity to beat Madden Campbell and the Lions, and you blew it. And it was specifically Aaron Charles Rodgers that did blow it by having another mediocre game and a mediocre performance in an important game.
And that right there is why I said D. That's why I went to D because
because
I knew they would be as good as they were last couple of years. But
you went punitive on.
My thing is this though, at least be a wildcard team.
So yeah, you went punitive. Okay.
Yeah, at least be a wildcard team.
At you.
I thought win at least 10, 11 games. I didn't think they win 8.
I think I had them at 11 or either 11 or 12, I think.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, listen, 3 or 4 games drop is disappointing. I get it. But there were injuries in there. And yeah.
Right. I thought the defense also didn't play well in parts of the year too, especially the defense that was fairly heralded as a solid one.
And some of it is Matt LaFleur being exposed. Frankly, I think he had grounds for being fired this season himself. But if they do have to deal with Rodgers departing, Matt LaFleur isn't a bad idea to have in there to work with another quarterback.
Well, let me give you ask 2 questions there. LaFleur, hot seat next year?
Yes. Hottest
seat in the league next year, probably?
No.
One of the hottest seats in the league next year?
In the top what?
Top 3?
No.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers, is he back next year as a Packer?
Yes, but I don't think he should be.
I think the Packers are going to really consider trading him.
I agree. The thing is, who would be takers at this point?
There's a team or two. I'm sure we'll bite on that.
Right.
He's too good.
Who is
Teams like the Raiders, teams like
okay? The Raiders
Titans,
don't
teams
need
like
more dysfunction. Who's now the Titans is the best answer, right? So what you do, and the irony here, I've heard it pointed out before, but when I heard to the Titans, I went full, oh Jesus, it's Brett Favre all over again, right?
Yeah.
What would the situation be if he goes to the Titans? It's a team with a pretty good defense and a running game that whoops your entire ass. You know, like Adrian Peterson used to do when Brett Favre got there and earned my most improved player award on that edition of the Student of the Game for that year. Brett Favre had one of his, if not, well, I shouldn't say the best, but one of his best performances, not just as a, not compared to any of his stuff as his in Minnesota. I mean, with a lot of his stats as a Packer.
Right.
That year he first arrived, because the first 4 games he threw the ball under 25 times. And then they started to realize, oh, wait, they're not opening it up with Favre. That's odd. Let's stop Peterson. And then he'd murder him in the play action game.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Charles Rodgers is that good at the very least. Still no receivers, though, but I digress. I mean, Burks is okay, but.
All right, this team here. Houston Texans were 3-13-1.
F. Good God.
Really? An F, really?
Damn straight. Listen, I know you were competitive in your stuff, but a lot of this is punitive. Your dumbasses decided to hire Lovie Smith because you thought you could cover up Deshaun Watson by settling down some of the woke crowd getting in your face about not hiring a minority candidate and then firing one immediately. So what did you do? You gave in to the pressure because it was surrounding Brian Flores, which had happened, days, if not a week, just before you parted with David Cullen, and felt enough pressure to hire Lovie Smith just to think that would hide Deshaun Watson and all that other crap. No.
Can I get 2 grades then? C- for the players in Lovie, F for the fucking front office. How about that?
Well, that's fair. But considering Lovie's not there, I doubt he gives a damn about the grade that the Texans get. F.
Right. Okay. How about the 4-12-1 Indianapolis Colts?
F. Listen,
that's definitely an F.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
As much as I had to listen to Colts fans, including my guy CeeLou, who I think is awesome and would love to have a beer with sometime, trying to sell me, oh, the Colts are going to win the division. Really, bitch?
I had it too, so I'm guilty as charged.
Oh, I'm not. I picked the Titans. What the hell do I know? Anyways, but I mean, I knew it pretty well until week 18. But
at least they cratered like late. They didn't crater like from the word go.
Well, they also didn't have Matt Ryan at quarterback, and then decide to bring in Yosemite Sam
Ellinger.
Jesus.
Easy F there. Easy
yeah,
F there.
And then add all that to bringing in, listen, and I hate that I have to talk disparagingly of Jeff Saturday because he's an amazing player who will be in Canton one day, and if he's not, it'll be a fucking travesty. But, F. Hiring him as coach. Come on, guys.
Vegas Raiders, 6-11.
F.
With you too, and it's for me, but F+ because I had them win the division.
You mean F-, but okay. And I have them. I did not have them winning the division, but even if they were 9-game winners with what they're doing with that Derek Carr, their grade would plummet at that moment on. You know, and then you dumbasses decided to bring in Josh McDaniels because he was such a great coach that you coached against in the AFC West, who picked freaking Tim Tebow 18th overall. What the F, people? Yeah, no. And you're wasting poor Josh Jacobs the way the Rams wasted oh God. Oh, I'm such an ass. How am I forgetting this guy's name? The running back.
Josh Jacobs?
No, the Rams. Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson, right.
The way you wasted his career is one of the most dynamic. Derrick Henry before it was cool to be Derrick Henry, bitches. I said it.
You did say it.
Just now.
How about this team? The still for now defense Super Bowl champions LA Rams.
I mean, I was going to give them a lot of slack, and then they brought in Baker Mayfield and did better with it. Really, F. Like, come on, guys.
Easy F. Yeah. Because even with the injuries too, especially, like they weren't even good with Stafford and Kupp healthy.
Right. And I remember the days when having a lunch with Sean McVay would get you a coaching job. Now, Oh, I don't know if I want to rebuild here in Los Angeles. It's only the biggest franchise city in the league right now, and I'm fresh off of the Super Bowl. You know, I actually won this one. I scoff at golf. No, F. Screw that.
Has a question now. McVay, rumors about him not come back to the team.
You know,
Does it happen? I
he
think he's
can.
gone. I think he's gone.
If he goes, prepare for a mockery, the likes of which you have only seen in the Tool Time segment with your love of the 49ers, okay? That, I swear to God, he would be the guy I talk more trash on than Pete Carroll when it comes to running away from situations. Hell, at least Pete Carroll has street cred for, hiding all of Reggie Bush's crimes, for Christ's sake, which are now legal, by the way, now, too. So there you go. What does McVay have? Bitch disease? I shouldn't say that.
I still hold it against Reggie Bush for return that award. He should have kept that shit. Fuck the Heisman Trophy committee. Keep that award.
If they ask for it back, you can't say no. Like,
well, they can arrest you for not bringing it back.
Maybe. Anyways,
Indian givers. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? I mean, well, let's not go there.
Okay. The New England Patriots 8-9.
I picked this team sneaking in.
Almost did it.
And they almost did it. And the Bills playing, like, we had the conversation about how the Bills would play that week.
Mm-hmm.
And they leaned more towards your side, being inspired. 2 kickoff returns. Good Christ. Like, that's awesome. I had them making the playoffs while losing that game. The Pats have had some games where they did not perform as they would be expected to, and they had some games where they stomped in ways that you didn't expect either. I know they talk a lot about, regression at the quarterback position and Mac Jones and all that. I'm not putting that on him. That being said, I'm going to go B- with this group. They were in a division where literally all 3 teams improved.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they had to deal with playing Skylar Thompson. So
there was that Billy Zappi thing, which, by the way, not for nothing.
That actually gives them points, man.
Not for nothing,
though. Bailey Zappi, bro.
Not for nothing, too. Also, I feel like if Bailey Zappi did continue starting, they might have won one more game, maybe.
I don't think so. I'll give this much credit. The gap between Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones is surprisingly small.
Yeah, I would say so. But I went C because they actually I had them winning 7-8 games this year. So technically they're in this pocket where I thought they'd be. But
so you're going to give them only C?
Satisfactory. I mean, they just did what I thought they would do.
What they thought you would do in a division that was vastly improved compared to where it was last year.
Maybe B-, I guess. I mean, but
okay, B- I'll take. C's
C+, maybe C+, maybe C+.
Okay, fine, just C.
Okay. I guess the margins matter in this podcast.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. No, I'm okay with that. All right. How about the New Orleans Saints, who was 7-10? Remember Peter King's preseason predictions?
Saints being we knew those were bullshit anyway.
Thank you. God.
Shouts to our good friend Damian Adams. God, Saints to the Super Bowl. You wackos.
Didn't Damian also sign up on that shit too?
Who?
Didn't Damian sign up on that shit too?
He did. Yes, 100%. That's why I'm bringing him up. At least in DA's case, he's a fine analyst. Otherwise, he's just blinded by homerism, which is something, a lot of guys do. Check out our guy, Mikey Byrne. No,
yeah, you're right there.
Joking aside, like I at least DA in his case has fanhood as his excuse. What the fuck is Peter King's? Honestly. You're the premier money quarterback. Where the fuck?
And Peter King knows what he's talking about. That's what shot me. I actually respect Peter King.
Well, I'm not saying I don't respect him, but wild swings, he does make a few every now and again.
Well, I mean, I would say most legacy analysts do tend to.
He's not a shot talk. I'm not trying to proclaim.
No, right, exactly.
He's come to some bad conclusions on occasion. That's the thing that has happened. Yes,
he needs to jump to conclusions, Matt.
Well, he had one apparently to pick the fucking Saints.
C minus for me because I thought they'd be worse than 7-10, but
No, C's cool. I can't front on that.
And quarterback issues too, of course. James Winston, I think
But
he's
we
done.
expected those, didn't we? Or well, we did, not Peter King. Am I right?
Which is why we don't understand why the hell they're getting 12 wins projections from Peter King.
Did you forget what happened in Tampa already? Anyways, go ahead.
All right, New York Jets 7-10.
F. No.
Whoa.
No, I can't do that. You're right. I thought you said sorry. You said Jets, and I thought something completely different. I'm so sorry. C, which it should have been higher. Listen,
Yeah.
I'll be clear. I have receipts right here. Okay, that's a Walmart receipt, but still, I have receipts right here to give to Robert Saleh. The way he handled the Zach Wilson situation at first was baller. And then Mike White got hurt and the team went straight to hell. And you scored 3 points when you held the Jags to only 19 on Thursday night and helped propel EJ's pick to take place to the point where I mean, listen, you want to proclaim Lucifer Morningstar. The only reason why you don't get it is because I said if that game happened, then they would make it. I had no idea, first of all, that Zach Wilson was going to start that game when we were talking about it. And yeah, I mean, God, the reason why I can't penalize Robert Saleh that much is that many wins with that group's amazing. Mm-hmm. And you acknowledge that Zach Wilson sucks, but you are still forced to start him. When your final game is Joe Flacco versus Skylar Thompson, that should show you everything you need to know there, AFC.
Hey, that's Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champion there.
That's elite quarterback Joe Flacco, right? Yeah, sheesh.
Yeah, I wouldn't C+ actually. Get the quarterback situation because I actually like the roster a lot outside of quarterback.
I may or may not have had a member of their team in my superlatives on the Student of the Game podcast, DJ Christian.
Bing! No, I think they're again on football podcast also. They're one of my 5 teams. Also looking at next year.
I'll put it this way: for those that listen to this pod and don't listen to the Student of the Game podcast, I would encourage you to find out who the number 15 receiver in yardage is at this point in the season.
Okay. So some homework, I guess, from the Student Game. All right, we have 3 more teams here. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 9-8.
Oh God,
it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet here for you. I know
this freaking team shouldn't even be on the podcast this week, and that's the only reason. The only reason they're not getting a damn A.
They almost made the playoffs.
Little Omar Epps. It said right there in the instructions, start Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Did you listen and follow instructions? No, Omar Epps, you did not. And now I have to yell at you like I'm Dr. Gregory House. Okay, this is your fault. That's right. I made a House reference. If you don't know, watch the goddamn show. It's amazing.
It is. Never finished it though, but it's amazing.
It ends a little sadder than I'd like. Details, but the punchline is this: you still get a B. Still get a B.
Yeah, me too. Because again, I wasn't sure. I got a B as well too. Maybe a B minus.
TJ Watt and Mika Fitzpatrick were both hurt at some point in the season as well. It's so big.
But I might go B minus only because the Pickett thing.
You're hitting them that hard. Damn.
Yeah, because it wasn't that we were saying this week 2, week 3. We were saying this during the preseason.
We were, but at the end of the day, we were saying this in the preseason. And still, by not listening to us,
Trafrisky happened.
Got to the 15th consecutive winning season. That has to matter.
Yeah, that and they were like the Lions in a sense too. They were like 2-6, 2-7, and they just bolted back. And
when TJ Watt and Mika Fitzpatrick were hurt.
Yeah. Again, another team on my list that's to look out for next year.
Fair.
All right, now 2 more teams here. We got the Tennessee Titans, 7-10. Whew, what a collapse.
D+. Vrabel should not be fired.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. There are people who are called for that. I had a conversation with Madman Mark Mancini, and there are others who have.
Did he say that too?
He said that Vrabel should be fired.
Okay, cool. Fire him. He'll have a job the very next day. He'd be the hottest name alive. He'd be the hottest name not named Sean Payton.
Watch him get hired by the Colts.
Yeah.
No, man. Not name Sean Payton or the Jim Harbaugh if you take that seriously. Listen, y'all need to figure something out and change your offense. You need to trade Derrick Henry. You need to blow that ish up and get an offense that isn't running back dependent, because he's going to go the way of Sean Alexander, buddy. It's not going to go well.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go even worse. D minus. I'm trying to an F. It's a bad collapse. I knew that I knew they would regress this year, but it's the way they did it. I kind of
Yeah, you called regress, but you did not call 7 straight goddamn losses.
Right. I just see a cat.
Hi,
What's up, Mochi?
He's trying
D
to
minus
to the people. By the way, the Titans were this good, showing his cat.
By the way, I like you guy Mike Mancini on your podcast. I think he's great, but he's made some two really bad takes last couple of weeks on your show. That's this Vrabel thing. If you're telling me Vrabel, fire Vrabel, there are 31 teams saying don't threaten me with a good time.
Well,
trust me on that. Well, not 31 teams.
31. I don't.
You know what I mean, though.
I don't think Andy Reid's getting fired.
No, right, or Belichick, or the coach of the year, Brian Daboll.
Hey, hold on. I know Patriot fans that might want Vrabel over Belichick at this point. Shit.
Yeah, but Pats fans aren't very intelligent, in my opinion.
That's not my point. I said it was a Pats fan. God damn it! But the
fact like I said,
thing should say something.
Yeah, Vrabel will have a job literally tomorrow by lunch tomorrow. Seriously. All right, and finally, last team here, the Washington Commanders, who are 8-1.
Really damn confusing.
This is the one hardest team to grade, honestly.
Because for all the goddamn mockery we made of you, they were really that close. And I can argue the Beastie Boys were involved with them missing the playoffs. Yeah, that's right. I'm evoking sabotage. As much as I hate the Beastie Boys in that song, it's appropriate here. Okay? Ron Rivera allegedly didn't know that game was going to eliminate them. And when you were asked for what the biggest problem on the team was one week, you said it in a single word: quarterback. And the guy that was the quarterback at the time, you threw the F back in. Good Christ. The only reason you're not getting an F is because Brian Robinson recovering from being shot is a great story. Taylor Heineke taking the personal foul penalty to beat the Eagles with their first loss is a fun story. Those two are the reason why you're going to get a C- instead of an F.
Yeah, that's what I'm at too. Because again, I had them going to the playoffs this year. They're my shocking wild card pick. I did get the what was that?
And also F Dan Snyder.
Oh, it's always fun Dan Snyder in this house. What was I gonna say? I did get right though. The 3 teams in the NFC East in the playoffs. I didn't think the Commanders, the Giants would be the 1 to 3. I thought the Commanders would be the third one. But anyway, C- for me as well too. Like I said, quarterback controversy too. Wentz, Heineke, Sam Howell on week 18 now. Basically don't have a quarterback. And by the way, this is the year where I officially wipe my hands clean. And you know how I've been a Carson Wentz guy for 6 years. I am officially done with Wentz. No more. I'm done.
I mean, hell, isn't he going to retire at this point?
He may get a starting job as a 1 year, like if a team needs a quarterback, like a 1 year thing, 2 year thing, like a Trubisky type contract. That's about it.
I can't argue with that.
So there it is. There's your grades for the non-playoff teams in the NFL. As I said earlier, we'll have the wild card weekend losers. We'll go over their grades next week on the show, and of course, so on and so on until Super Bowl 57, 58.
Yeah. I hope you're looking forward to talking about your guy Kirk Coupons.
I hope we're doing it this weekend. I hope next week's show Kirk Coupons on the because the Vikings are gonna be a weird team to grade. That record and the performance.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
We shall see.
No, they're not.
All right.
Because you've the one that's been the problem. I know exactly what to give their sorry asses.
All right, so unlike you, we're gonna I'm gonna give my picks on this on the show later in the week on a Filter podcast rather. This is all you here, so I bring up the I'm doing the spreads also too.
So what you're doing is also taking away picks from my show at the Student of the Game podcast. Bing, but that's okay.
Yeah, but we're doing spreads.
Listen, they can still come to my show and get the superlatives. It's all right.
Yeah, but we're doing spreads though. We're doing spreads. We don't.
All right, then do spread, you fucking degenerate.
All right, your boys, San Francisco at home against Seattle. San Fran 10-point favorites. What you got?
10 points. Oh, it's down to 10? Okay, well, listen, with 10, give me the Niners. F your points at the end of the day. By the way, pick the effing under because you're dealing with Mr. Irrelevant and Geno Smith at cornerback.
I'm hearing people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's hard to beat for teams 3 times," and I agree with you on that. But that only applies to teams that are actually closer in talent.
Thank you.
Not the
Beating
case here.
3 times. Okay, typically when teams play 3 times, it goes like this. They either split if they're good, and time 3 is the tie break, as it should be, right? Or the team got swept, and there's a reason they got swept, which means they're going to get swept for a 3-game series just the same.
Right. Some guy tweeted me earlier today. Well, they beat Seattle only by 8 on the last time they played. I'm like, dude, that game wasn't even close. That score was not indicative of the actual game. If you watch the actual game, Seattle scored a touchdown really late.
Correct.
Sanford had that game in hand from the word go.
Holy shit!
Watch the game.
Watching games and doing research. This is
Thursday night football, Penny. Come on, let's go.
Where's the eggplant, big dog? Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. You're getting Woody, aren't you? Yeah, give me Sanford by 30. All right.
30 shit. I don't know that they'll score 30 combined, but I got the Niners winning by at least 10.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got Chargers at Jaguars on NBC or Peacock, 8:30 at night on Peacock. Yeah, that's at Peacock. 8:15 p.m. Chargers are now 1-point favorites.
As they should be. I find it odd. The reason why this game is so close is because Vegas doesn't know what the hell to make of it because the first time is not indicative of what you will see upcoming. Also, what if Trevor decides to not get the jitters and he blow them the fuck out? I get it. I don't think that'll happen. I think with Joey Bosa playing the entire game, hopefully, if you're a Chargers fan, that will alter the course of human history for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, I'm going to enjoy covering that game. I'm going to have fun watching Joey Bosa in person, watching Keenan Allen in person, watching Justin Herbert in person, doing their damn thing. I wish I could heckle Staley as the coach on your behalf. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that as a member of the press.
But I have to ask you, though, because he played his starters on Sunday against Denver when he didn't have to. They were locked in that 5 seed at that point. By the time that game kicked off, Baltimore already lost their game, and they were guaranteed a 5 seed. He plays his starters. Mike Williams, one of their best players, gets hurt. He may not even play this game on Saturday.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced yet, according to what I've seen in the.
To me, that's borderline fireable, in my opinion.
I'm not going to go that far, but I see what you're getting at, and yeah, that is asinine. I mean, that if you were going to make the argument, which I know you would, that his reliance on analytics misserving him, paired with that being the last straw, is fireable, I can respect that. But the Spanoses won't make that move. They're not football savvy enough. Hashtag I said it, but
you did say it.
I did just now. But yeah, in light of the fact that Keenan Allen's back, I don't care about Austin Eckler. I know he's a nice piece that they have to think about, and they'll keep things balanced. But you're not running Austin Eckler against this group that's designed to stop Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor when he's healthy. You're going to attack that secondary, which is just butt nasty for the Jaguars. Easily their weak point. I got the Chargers.
All right, Dolphins and Bills. Bills 14-point favorites. What you got?
Bills by 50. Next.
Giants at Vikings. Vikings by 3. What you got?
Bills by 50. Next. No. Honestly, this game is easily, in my mind, the toughest to predict this week. I have the Giants, which annoys you as a Cowboys fan, I'm sure. But
slow down.
Slow your roll, hippie. I know. Your kid's name isn't Troy. It's Eli. I get it. But no, man. Saquon Barkley was the midseason student of the game MVP, and he's one of my top candidates. Whether he wins the award, I'm not giving it away. You have to watch Student of the Game podcast. Bing! But the defense is going to allow him to run rampant. And if it's not him that runs rampant, it will be somebody else because he was a decoy. And I've seen they can do that. I watched it happen in person when they played Jacksonville. At the end of the day, you just get in Kirk Coupland's head, pray that he misses Justin Jefferson a few times, and hope for the best.
All right. Ravens at Bengals. Go.
It's the Bengals and it's big. It's not by 50 big, but I mean, no Lamar Jackson, no problem.
Yeah, Lamar. I don't think Lamar's playing this game.
Right.
What's your thoughts on the whole Lamar thing?
Here's the thing. Him getting hurt again, if they don't bring him back, it's going to be an I told you so. And I made this point in the preview for the AFC North, talking with Ashley Baker of the After Hours Twitter Space show. And she understood where I was coming from, but she's like, well, Wilson's been injured that much, and so contract. Cool. But now Lamar Jackson's hurt again, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to take a franchise tag.
Yeah, apparently you could. I didn't realize that you could reject it, not sign it, and then that makes you what, free agent at that point.
Basically,
he might do that.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the market will open up, and somebody will pick him up, and I think that's going to go wrong too. It's a matter of finding a coach that knows how to use your talents, and not every head coach in the NFL knows how to correctly use a mobile quarterback.
Because there's not enough quarterbacks that'll be available, but too many teams that need quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson will have a market where there'll be teams. He'll have a lot of suitors.
Yeah,
he'll have a lot of suitors. That's for sure.
And
all right,
I'll say this: whoever thinks he's going to Miami is out of their gourd.
Well, we'll see. Finally, Monday Night Football: Cowboys and Bucks.
I got the Cowboys, but it's because I don't really feel like Brady is going to be able to throw the ball 567 times against that defense. That's really what it boils down to. I know Vita Vea is good. I know he's going to be problematic for whatever the Cowboys are trying to do, running the football and all that. But at the end of the day, I know Dakota Prescott's made a lot of mistakes, but I also know Tom has gotten shaken up a lot in the backfield, and that offensive line is bad.
And they've been bad. They've been bad all year long at this point. Why would you have to improve now?
That's a good point.
18 weeks. Have you show me anything that you're good enough? Even your wins, you look very shaky.
I'll put it this way: if Tampa wins, it's because Dallas lost it.
If Dallas loses, is McCarthy done?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't believe Jerry Jones what he said yesterday about? Oh no, he's our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy.
That's kind of the kiss of death from Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
About Wade Phillips at one point.
Yeah.
Jason.
Garrett, maybe got a little bit at one point.
Jason Garrett, he said that too. Which, by the way, get him the fuck off of Sunday night. You're stealing somebody's money, sir.
Thank God I stopped watching pre-game shows now.
Yeah, I don't normally watch it. I just noticed he was on it again, and him and Chris Sims just makes me want to throw shit.
Chris Sims is hit or miss for me. Like he is a hot take artist still. I will say that. He has some really bad takes.
I don't think he's that great an analyst. I don't. He draws basic ass conclusions I can get from Booger McFarland, bro.
All right, one more thing here before we get out of here. We saw the national championship game 48 hours ago. Georgia repeats back-to-back titles, first repeat champion since 2011, 2012. Alabama team did that. First repeat champion in this new playoff era.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these narratives about Georgia and Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, I'm of the opinion that Nick Saban is still the best coach in college football. Kirby Smart is the king right now, just based on the fact that what he's done in recent years. But this can all change in a year or two.
Isn't that the essence of college football? That change is inevitable because of graduation and transfer portal and NIL?
People act like Nick Saban sucks all of a sudden, though.
Well, they did the same thing when I had the opportunity to coach, interview him in press conferences with Jim Harbaugh the year that the two of them made it to the Citrus Bowl, right? And what was the buzz then? Nick's losing his touch, fire Jim Harbaugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck is that going?
Yeah. Right? Do you still, in spite of the result, and we're not reading so much result, but more so the score and how the game, the teams were definitely not on the same page. TCU and Georgia. A lot of people saying this is why we should do a 12-team playoff because they can expose more of these bad teams. You share that opinion also? No.
So there's something to that. A 12-team playoff means that you will have at least 3 SEC teams. Okay. For one, Look at the playoff, the rankings as they are now. And this is with LSU at 17, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but whatever, that's cool. They lose their conference to Georgia, and now they're 17. Okay, whatever. Let's just take the three teams that are there: Georgia, Bama, and Tennessee, right? The top team in the bottom half is Penn State. Which one of those loses to Penn State?
Tennessee without Hooker might lose to Penn State.
So what you're telling me is they would need to have an arm tied behind the back for Penn State to have a chance next, right?
Right.
And I know why you're bringing up, because Hooker did get hurt.
Right.
Sure. But we had to get to that point first, right? And I'll put it this way. If it takes a fluke for you to win the damn game, that's not the point of the friggin' conversation, right? You know, and actually, if Hooker were hurt, you'd probably have Tennessee ranked lower than they are, right?
Right.
The committee has done that sort of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
I should know, covering UCF when Mackenzie Milton got hurt, right?
Yeah, right.
But nobody's picking Penn State over any of those three.
I don't know.
Teams. And moreover, I wouldn't be surprised if they got blown out, just like they got blown out by their damn Big Ten counterparts in that division, being exposed like Janet Jackson in a halftime show. The problem I have with the 12-team playoff isn't that it isn't the right thing to do. But the problem I have with the 12-team playoff is the conferences are broken AF, especially the Big Ten.
Right. I just hate all these analogies. All of a sudden, we sudden need to have the hot take on nowhere, as though we never saw Notre Dame got blown by Alabama, so or Florida State blown by Oregon
or Oklahoma.
Exactly. Like these things don't happen to good teams also, to good schools also. Come on.
I mean, Ohio State's gotten blown out before, but I'll put it this way: the reason why blowouts look awkward is blowouts happening is what got the playoff into existence in the first place and got us out of the BSC. But I'll do a kind of a synopsis quickly of what I talked about on the Student of the Game podcast. Bing. So TCU didn't belong. Okay. That argument's dead because everybody tried to tell me that Michigan was the second best team in the nation and TCU beat them. Okay. But Ohio State would have had a better shot. You mean the team that lost to Michigan? Okay. By the way, Ohio State, you got your shot. And when Georgia played their worst game of the year and you played easily your best, you still effing lost. Yeah, I get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. got hurt, and that's a great argument. I give them that much credit. Matter of fact, part of the reason TCU got beat that bad is because Kirby Smart lost his goddamn mind after that game and whipped his guys into shape so much so that they beat the Christ out of the Horned Frogs. Okay? Then another oh, by the way, your conference is so bleeding good, Big Ten, that with that weak-ass schedule, it showed us some fool's gold there to where you couldn't even get past the first round. So there's that.
Yeah.
The Pac-12. USC was kept out because of shenanigans at the end. Well, they might have had a shot. Except you lost to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. Shut it. The ACC. Oh, hey. You know who was left out that would have given them a shot? Alabama. Oh, wait, but you don't like two SEC teams in the playoffs. So who the fuck does belong then, EJ?
Exactly. No, I'm with you, man. All right, plug away, buddy.
Man, I cursed a lot on your show tonight.
I love it.
This is Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the Student of the Game. Check out my writings with the 3-point conversion and the black and gold banneret covering the Jaguars for 3-point and A7BN Sports, as well as UCF basketball and football. That's men's and women's basketball, by the way, with the black and gold banneret at UCF there. And check out, by the way, the Saturday playoff game. Woo. That's going to be fun.
Take lots of pictures.
I will. And tomorrow, which would be, well, tomorrow's Thursday. On Friday, on 1560 The Fan in Melbourne, I'll be talking with my guy Mark Moses about the game
All right.
on his show as well. So check out the Mark Moses show there. I will be talking some schmack, which is always fun when I talk with him. And tomorrow, if things go well, we might have a podcast with my friend, the sports junkie, Chris Pirtle, the second annual Burrito Summit, where we at Chipotle talk about playoff predictions. And EJ Christian, that's where I first crafted the confidence to call the Niners making it to the conference championship if they got the Cowboys and Packers in the lineup, and where I also successfully predicted the Rams and the Bengals.
Oh, interesting.
It was.
All right, Kyle. So I guess we'll talk next week. And,
yes.
We'll close up wild card weekend, and we'll face divisional weekend, and we'll talk more shenanigans in the NFL and beyond.
Honor, joy, and privilege. Until next time, class dismissed.